Hello and welcome to Sports Tonight on Channels Television. I am Tyre Salam. Of course, it's just 5 days to the World Cup. The fever is in the air. It's very palpable. We can't wait for the biggest sporting competition to start in 5 days. It's going to go down in Qatar, obviously. Austin Okanakman is going to be joining me very soon on the show. But before Austin joins me, I've got my studio guest with me back again on a Tuesday. I'm talking about none other than Kende Idris. Kende, what's up? How are you?
I'm good, Tyre. It's good to...
Are you feeling the fever already like I am?
I am. I think it's so tingling. You know, it's in your spine, it's in your vein, you know, your bloodstream. There is something that awakens you about the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's so funny, Tyre. Even those who are not football lovers or in extension, who are not sport lovers, have something that is taking them, you know, taking their attention towards the World Cup.
Yeah.
It might be about the assemblage of everybody in Qatar. It might be the stories coming from Qatar, the kind of money somebody who is in the financial sector, when you're hearing that kind of money, you're like, let me see what's happening, and so much money is going down. And that is what the World Cup always be. It awakens the entire world. And when he says the biggest sporting event or festival around the world, hey, no argument, Tyre. No argument, no overstating, seriously. Yeah. The World Cup is here, and the fever is also here.
It is here. I mean, of course, it's the build-up has been quite controversial, but we're all hoping once the first, kickoff goes down on Sunday between the host nation and Ecuador, we're going to forget about all of the controversies and focus on football alone.
Even before the kickoff, Tyre, we're already forgetting all the controversies. Do you know, as of yesterday, when teams properly started arriving in Qatar, everybody forgot. Now we're catching up with, okay, the flight they came in with, how they stepped in. I saw pictures of, okay, this guy's dressed in this way to come in, like Nigerians are like, okay, I can remember in 2018, Nigerians wore this and all of that. These guys are wearing this. They are copying the Nigerian style because majorly we see teams coming in suits and all of that. Now we're seeing attires from their decent.
Teams are making fashion statements.
Exactly. So, you know, some Nigerians are finding a way to put themselves in the whole conversation. Okay, you guys are now looking towards Nigeria and the way we stole the show, 4 years ago. So the fever is already here. We're already forgetting. Last week, the former FIFA president, Blatter, came out to say it was a mistake. This mistake, I think, is already becoming an enjoyable one, and we're already seeing a pointer towards having a sweet competition. And if you want to talk about the rivalry, the competition amongst teams,
I can see you're champing at the bit to go already, but I'm just going to let you take a pause there. We're going to relax a bit before we get into the nitty-gritty of the show. And before Austin Okanakman joins us as well, too, let me tell you that the 6th edition of the Adron Games ended in Lagos. That was on Saturday after 3 days of intense competition at the Yabatech Sports Complex. Staff of the real estate company from around the country featured in over 20 sporting events, from football to track and field, as well as board games like chess and Scrabble. Proceedings at the grand finale, including the closing ceremony, is contained in this report.
The closing ceremony of the 6th Adron Games takes center stage in Yaba, Lagos. Adron Games is an annual fitness and bonding initiative by Adron Homes, a leading real estate and property development company in Nigeria. Adron staff, dignitaries, journalists and sports lovers are all in attendance. Ex-internationals also grace the occasion and are full of praise for the organizers.
I must give kudos to Adron Homes, the wonderful setup, wonderful atmosphere. Being here, see this kind of glamour was something that was blew my expectation. So I'm praying, hoping, I believe we're going to have more company, more corporate sponsor.
I really appreciate the owner. I really give much kudos to him and the wife. Organizing such a big game like this is something that every other parastatals in Nigeria should follow suit.
They have channels all over Nigeria, and by bringing them together means that he's bringing his family as one so that they can understand themselves, and at the same time giving them the message of doing sport.
In the women's football final, defending champions Gateway Ladies defeated Team Eko 2-0 to win the trophy.
passion to have a corporate culture of fitness. Not only Adron homes, but it's a message we project to the public. When you have a healthy workforce, they are much more productive when they are healthy.
You've got athletes or participants from different, states, AKT, Lagos, Abuja. But for the scouting mechanism, we've got a team of technicals around who are more or less scouts who are identifying top talents among these workers.
Team Eco retained their title in the men's category after beating the construction team via penalties.
It's about the mentality of the whole team coming together with the mind that we need to win this.
Team Eco emerged overall winners of the 2022 edition of the Adron Games. No doubt, engaging in sports gives the physical and mental fitness required to succeed in every career.
Shout out to the management of Adron Company for promoting mental and physical fitness among their staff. Let's get on with the show now. Austin Okonakman is suited up and ready to join the party. What's up, Austin?
It's got a greetings to you, Taya, and of course everyone joining us from different parts of the world. Pumped up to do this one tonight. We're coming off a very busy sporting weekend and we're entering another week that will really get us talking. UFC 281 got us talking. Cristiano Ronaldo damned everyone and said what was on his mind.
Yeah, that was quite a bombshell of an interview with Piers Morgan. But yeah, of course, a lot of reactions trailing Ronaldo's interview. The latest, just before I came on air, is that Erik ten Hag has actually met with the United hierarchy, and he's told them he doesn't want Ronaldo as a part of the team anymore. So we'll see how that pans out in the next month or thereabouts.
Yeah. But look, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. I think at this point everyone should just accept whatever happens, And football will go on, Tyler. So it's a team sport. It's Manchester United. They know what they were signing when they asked Cristiano Ronaldo to come back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just want to watch how things will unfold with this one.
We'll see. Fingers crossed. We always got to wait and see how it pans out with Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United. But before then, it's all about the World Cup, and we're going to thoroughly enjoy that competition starting in 5 days. Austin already mentioned where we're starting off the show from. We're starting with the Ultimate Fighting Championship. That's the UFC 281 that went down over the weekend, early Sunday morning to be precise. And unfortunately, Nigeria's Israel Adesanya lost his middleweight title in a very painful manner against Alex Pereira. I'm going to get your thoughts straight away on that fight. I believe you saw it. And what's your takeaway from the manner in which Israel lost that title?
I think it's rather sad. The sadness for me is the fact that the 3 losses Israel has had, against Pereira had come in the same fashion. Man for man, toe for toe, pound for pound, going up against each other. Israel is a better fighter, but there is always something that eludes Israel. Is that killer, will I call it killer punch shots, or kick, and all of that, which Pereira have always found a way to have. If you check the 2 fights in the MMA mixed martial art, where, he had gone on to almost, clinch that fight, where you would say unanimous decision would have comfortably gone his way. But that kick, that blow, came, and that was it. And same thing in the UFC, this, which is his second fight in his 5th fight in the UFC, and Pereira, as of the time Pereira took out Israel cold, nobody can argue. that Israel was on top when it comes to points. Then also, I think maybe a little, the referee was a bit in a haste. Israel was in a bad shape. He was in a bad shape. But sometimes these are champions. I think maybe you could have given a little window to see. But the UFC, that is the reason why up until today, no casualties when it comes to deaths, in quotes, where a sport like boxing, I've already recorded several. UFC finds a way to cut it before it gets to that point where it could take life. So Israel, hey, lucky you. But for Pereira, I think Israel is already looking at a rematch in this. But congratulations to the man. Whatever you do to take out a good fighter like Israel at this level, I think it should be well kudos. Already he's opened up, the division. Talking about the Costa, the Whitakers, they would all want to jump on this and ask, hey, this man, if you're not getting a rematch straightforward from Israel, then we're all waiting.
Let's get our shots, right?
Let's get our shots. And it seemed like an easier shot for this guy. I think so.
Exactly.
He knows how to beat Israel, but I doubt if he's a good UFC fighter.
I see where you're coming from. Austin, let me come to you straight away. Kenny has said, Israel was ahead on points going into the final round. 39-37 on all three judges' scorecards, and he got caught eventually. That must have been very, very hard for you to watch.
Yeah, it was painful. Was quite unfortunate. He lost it in the 5th round, and I listened to the style bender during the post-fight conference, and he struggled to explain what happened. Just like the first time it happened again. The same Pereira guy. Don't take anything away from the way Alex Pereira approached that fight. I said it over and over again. His corner should get all the kudos. Did you listen to what his corner told him just before round 5? Go out there. You're so close to becoming a champion. Don't fall. Knock him out. That was what brought him back to life. Easy did some things wrong in that fight. Maybe was waiting to catch Pereira, but he was getting backed up a lot. I'm sure if he goes back to watch it, he will beat himself for getting backed up. And this guy is strong. He's made out of mahogany, Tayo. You see the way he throws those punches, the sound that comes out, when he gives Israel those jabs, and he invested so much in his kicks. If he gets a lot of points with those calf kicks, Pereira did the same thing. And that affected Izzy's movement, So you can tell that he knows how to fight Israel Adesanya. Izzy said he would have wished that they'd allow him go a bit further. No. Because at that point, Pereira really got him, and he was going for the kill. It was painful, because, you cannot be leading 3-1 and then losing the way he did in round 5. Also made us remember how Kamaru Usman also lost it. But I love the way Israel Adesanya has taken this, and at the post-match conference, he told us again that you don't know what I'm battling with, but he doesn't want to chicken out, because everyone will come at him and say, oh, you're the champion, you're scared of fighting. Even Dana White said we should give Israel Adesanya his praises, because he doesn't budge to fight anyone. Why are you bringing? Oh, bring it on, And that's the mentality of a champ. Yes, Tayo, it was painful watching that one, particularly for those of us who stay awake, to see these fights, and then you're hoping that the man that loves Nigeria so much, sometimes we try to stay very neutral. This job doesn't want us to be biased. But I'm going to love who loves my country. I love who is always talking good about Nigeria, and Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, they've been good ambassadors, of Nigeria through the UFC. So this is painful, but now no pressure. Let's see. Let him go attend to himself medically. He says he needs some attention. And then we'll wait for part 2. He said he will be back. It's not over. We can't wait for Izzy to get back, Tayo.
Normally when you get beat by the same man 3 times, there's a tendency to not want to have any parts of him again. But interesting, Israel has come out to say he wants the rematch, and he sees eventually a trilogy, because he's quite confident he's going to win the rematch, and they'll have to do a 3rd fight in the UFC. Austin, you're smiling. You want to say something before I go to...
I'd like to see it, and Israel has already described it as war. It says now this is going to be a war, you know. So I'm sure that's what fans want to see. Dana White cannot wait to have that fight also. And by the way, he mentioned that he wants to bring the UFC to Africa. And Nigeria was mentioned. He said he would like to see you know, a UFC fight in Nigeria. So we're getting some love, even with what Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya they've done. You can tell that the UFC has got huge followership in Nigeria. Maybe we should take the Trilogy to Nigeria.
Why not? that would be awesome, Kendi. Yeah, but like I just mentioned to Austin now, like if you lose to the same guy 3 times, psychologically it could be very damaging. But Israel doesn't seem to be looking at it from that angle, and it's come out to say that the rematch, he wants it, and that should be very good to watch as well.
I think, you know, even before this, you know, third fight between both of them, but, you know, the first in the UFC, Israel should have some things, you know, holding him back, because we've lost to this same fighter twice.
Same fashion.
It doesn't matter the level or the ground. In the before that fight, I'm sure Israel will be asking himself, okay, Israel, take your time. This is the same guy. You can do it, and all of that. Which actually adjusted some things that we know of Israel. One of the beauties of watching Israel Adesanya, the last stylebender, is the fact that he knows how to manage his opponent. Israel finds a way to put you where he wants you to be from the start of the fight till the end. But this time,
not this guy.
A lot of talks from people saying Israel is a bit boring, he only kicks legs and all of that. But for a champion, you need to be careful always. And I think that 5th round, Israel left all of his carefulness, and that cost him.
That cost him the fight, right? All right. Anyways, there's a fight game, and these things are bound to happen. Africa started the year with 3 kings. We're down to just 1, Francis Ngannou, after Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya lost their bouts. That's the quote coming from Israel Adesanya, basically saying he wants a rematch, which is obviously going to lead to a trilogy if he wins that bout. All right, there you go. That's the confirmation right there for you. I am going to fight him 2 more times. I'm going to whoop him the next time. And then there's going to be a trilogy in the UFC, and we're going to have to finish it off there. So fingers crossed, let's see how that pans out. Let's get on with the show now and talk about the National Sports Festival. It is really upon us now. I mean, November 28th is just around the corner, and of course, Unity Touch is still making its round across the different states, 36 and Federal Capital Territory. It was in Lagos recently. There you go. That's the touch right there, being received by Lagos State government officials. Was received on behalf of the Governor Babatunde Sanwo-Olu by the Commissioner of Youth and Social Development, Olusegun Daudu, with officials of the Lagos State Sports Commission also present. A delegation of the Federal Minister of Youth and Sports Development, led by Southwest Zonal Coordinator Emmanuel Okere, presented the torch. The 21st National Sports Festival, of course, is going to go down in Asaba Delta State from November the 28th till December the 10th. Of course, that's the date. Nothing has changed. But all of the stories coming out of Delta, you know, and that side of the country doesn't show any, doesn't inspire much confidence in terms of preparations and readiness for Nigeria's Mini Olympics.
Nothing should change these days, because this is the 3rd date we've gotten of the National Sports Festival for this year, you know, that will go down in Asaba. So please, 28 should be sacrosanct. Nothing.
But from everything you're seeing, I mean, the stories coming out, the incidents,
like we touched on Qatar, the World Cup, stories have emanated.
Yeah, but not with infrastructure. Infrastructure, come on, it's been ready for.
Although in the course of the weekend, I got a chance to speak with the Commissioner for Information, you know, Delta State right there, Charles Aniago, who said, he did a video, not just said, and showed us the Stephen Keshi Stadium, and said, this is a gym that we want to, you know, put in place that will serve just after the tournament, and that is what was affected. The Stephen Keshi Stadium is in good shape, so no worries. And also the story of casualties, that only 1 person got injured and the person is having the best of treatment. So, you know, stories would emanate.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I've spoken with so many athletes, especially the top ones from different sports, and they all cannot wait to display what they can do. So I don't know, you know, I hope all of this, especially administratively, everything will be put together and we'll have a beautiful national sport. With everything Delta had told us, the moment they got the flag or the mantle for the hosting of the, you know, next one in Edo last year, they said, Edo, well done, we respect you, you're a brother to us, but we'll have a more beautiful, you know, national sports festival, and we cannot wait to have that.
We can't wait.
We can't wait.
Before we go, we'll go back to Delta in a bit. Austin has a few things to say as well. So let's get reactions that are coming from the reception of the Unity Touch by Lagos State officials.
The message is for the unity of Nigeria. It's a purposeful movement for the youth to know and then imbibe the spirit of sports, imbibe the spirit of sportsmanship, exhibit our culture the way it is.
As Lagos athletes and captain, we are promising the states that we are going to do a whole lot better than what we did the last time, and we are going there to make the states and our families proud of us.
I'm rest assured that I'm going to get 3 gold medals in my category because I believe I can do it. I can do better than that. And I'll be setting a new record beyond the shore of Nigeria.
If you look at our, the last youth games and our last festival in Edo, I think it was last year, we had the youngest contingent in the whole nation. We took teenage athletes who competed very extensively with veteran athletes. We are doing the same thing again this year. We are refreshing our contingent. We have taken more females than we have taken males, and they have performed. So there's a strategic line to all these things, and we believe that will continue.
All right, that's some of the officials as well as the athletes as well speaking ahead of the National Sports Festival slated for Delta State, Asaba to be precise, starting from November the 28th. All right, yeah, before we bring Austin you know, into the discussion, we need to go on this break. When we come back, we'll be getting Austin's thoughts on the readiness of Delta State for the National Sports Festival. Yeah, welcome back to Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're still building up to the National Sports Festival in Asaba Delta State. There was an incident as well too that called a fire incident happened at the Stephen Keshi Stadium just recently as well. So the Commissioner for Information, that's Charles Aniago, says the incident has not been reported properly by the media. Here is his own account.
It happened that some of the adversaries' roof removed were parked just by the corner of the stadium. And then while the welder was very busy welding some other materials up there, the electrode that was actually more like a spark coming from the iron fell on those asbestos, and then it caught fire. Not the stadium itself, but unfortunately the smoke and the heat that emanated from that fire now led to the melting of some of the cladding that you have by the wall of the stadium. Not that the stadium itself caught fire, but the asbestos that have been removed from the roof, which more had become a waste because we were actually bringing them down and evacuating them from the premises of the stadium. But these ones have not been evacuated, and while the welder was very busy welding up there, the electrodes or the spark that was coming from that welding activity fell on those asbestos, and in the course of time it caught fire, and because of the heat it generated so much heat and was able to melt some of the cladding that you could see right here. It's not as if the stadium itself caught fire.
Yes, thankfully the stadium itself did not catch, it didn't catch fire like it said. Right there, Austin, I was talking about all the stories coming out of Delta State, not, you know, inspiring confidence for competition, which is starting in about a week.
Yeah, you know, and I pray for the competition, Tayo. Last week we were talking about a collapsed crane. This week we're talking about a fire incident. I see some of those, you know, unused roofing materials just hanging around, you know, putting safety under serious threat. I really don't understand what Delta wants to do with this National Sports Festival, but every week they are trying to correct something in the media or reassure us that they're going to host the National Sports Festival. I think at this stage we should have gone beyond this.
Way beyond it. Yeah, I agree.
We should be feeling the pulse of the National Sports Festival. We should be assessing, testing facilities for the National Sports Festival. I've said this over and over again, that until we kill the fire brigade approach in Nigeria, particularly with infrastructure development, sports will continue to struggle. Because if I'm coming to Delta to compete, I want to get into it 100%. I want to know that the facilities are doing just fine. I want to even compare it to the facility of the last competition where I competed. So much, you know, happens mentally with sports persons. When they see pictures and they can still see that bars are still mounted around the stadium, roofing sheets are all over the corner, you know, and you hear of collapse this, collapse that. It's worrisome.
It is. I agree. I think everyone who's been monitoring things and the proceedings in Delta State would say the exact same thing as well too. But we'll see how it pans out. They've got about a week and a few days to make sure everything is in place for the National Sports Festival, and we hope that it's not going to be postponed because the athletes are looking forward to competing in Nigeria's mini Olympics. Let's leave the National Sports Festival. Let's move on to basketball. Let's talk about the NBBF Final 8. The finals went down over the weekend on Saturday, to be precise, at the National Stadium, between Kwara Falcons and Nigeria Customs. Surprise finalists, you have to say. These two sides are making it all the way into the championship. The side of Kwara Falcons, like I said, they surprised bookmakers to emerge winners of the Nigeria Basketball Federation Final 8 in Lagos after defeating Nigeria Customs 78-53. Very, very convincing victory, you'd say, Kane Day. To reach the final, the Falcons defeated Benin Braves 83-59, while Nigeria Customs thrashed River Supers in the semifinals 64-59. Not quite the thrashing, but you get the point. They got the job done, and they made it into the final, but then they didn't have enough left in the tank to take out Kwara Falcons. You followed the Falcons all through the competition. You have to say they are deserved winners, right? Yeah,
they are deserved winners, and I'm sure Austin would also agree to that, because last Tuesday that I was here, we really dealt with this issue and the way day 1 and day 2 had gone. As of that day, it was, day 2 wrapped up. So we're looking forward. We looked at day 3 and we saw, okay, this team and all of that. And trust me, Kwara Falcons really got our attention as much as Benue Braves, also Rivers Hoopers. The likes of Lagos Islanders got our attention for the wrong reasons, because as of then they lost 2 matches. So surprised element, but they did it in style. For every team they played, they stunned that team, and you just understand this is not watching those games. It wasn't a case of these are teams that will show up for a while, and when they get to the biggest of stages like the semi-final or the final, they will fizzle out. We saw it that this team will not fizzle out, and they proved us right. Playing Benue Braves in the semi-final, that was a top test for Kwara Falcons, because Benue Braves are also a very formidable side, very decent, very disciplined, and they took them out in that style. And then when they got to the final, I think Customs really would have wished for probably another team. This is what we're saying. Yes, you might think, okay, this is a big franchise when it comes to basketball. This is a top franchise and all of that. But when you put it out there, franchises will come and they will express what they can do. Whoever does better will be there. Today, tomorrow, up until, probably another competition, we'll be talking about Kwara Falcons. And if you check, in the last 2-3 years, this team have been holding their own so right. Only waiting for a time like this to explain what they can do, and they've done that. Congratulations, really, to Kwara Falcons.
You're spot on, Austin. I mean, we almost take it for granted. Anytime there's a basketball competition in Nigeria, River Supers are going to win the competition, but they didn't even make it to the final this time around. It's good for competition, obviously.
honestly, it's so good, Tayo. You know, if we're not talking about Rivers Hoopers, we're talking about Kano Pillars, if not Kano Pillars, Nigeria Customs. And I said it on this show that in the last 3 years, if not for that coma that basketball in Nigeria entered, Quara Falcons were saying, look, we're ready to compete, we're ready to get some respect. And what a way to do it, you know. And this time around, they showed quality, they showed that consistency that I've seen over the years. Now, this is a special, we can only appeal because this is not football. Kwara State government, what you've done for Kwara United, do for Kwara Falcons. Don't say because this is basketball. They will be representing Nigeria at the Basketball Africa League. It will be good to see them go there and give some good representation. But I love what we saw with the NBBF Final 8. It is another wake-up call to administrators of basketball in Nigeria to see that, look, see what we did to the youth. See what we did to basketball in Nigeria. Now we've seen a little bit of the action that we have missed. Some teams were rusty because they've not played basketball in a while. But we love the fact that we're talking about this. Let's keep the momentum going. Let's get better as a country when we talk about basketball. You know, so I love what I saw with Kwara Falcons and Nigeria Customs. We also love what Benue Braves did at the competition. Tayo, let's do more.
Let's do more. Let's keep playing basketball. Let's keep playing basketball, indeed. You want to say something?
I said it last week. It was off-air, though. I was telling Cecilia, I said, the board, with what you've seen with the Final 8, don't you love it? Ain't you happy? Ain't you, you know, feeling fulfilled that at least these teams, these 8 teams, if we're not extending it, you're seeing youths who are so happy to be a part, even those who did not get past the first round, and they're happy. Ain't you happy that they're happy? And now for Kwara Falcons, you will be there sitting in your loft, seat, and then you're watching them achieve their dreams. Some people have lived their life all to get to this point, and you'll be happy to have helped them, you know, get to this point. So we should do more and help others to get to Eldorado in their dreams.
Indeed. That's it. Congratulations once again to Kwara Falcons. Apart from that trophy and the prize money, they'll be representing Nigeria at the NBA Basketball Africa League next year. Wish them all the best. Let's talk about football now. We started the show by telling you it's 5 days to go until kickoff for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. 4 days depending on what part of the world that you are. There you go, right there. And we're going to continue our build-up to the competition by taking a look at 4 teams. Amongst those 4 teams is favorites for a lot of people, including me. Brazil is definitely one of them. So let's start with our profile for this. I'm going to start with Morocco. Definitely African representatives. The Atlas Lions of Morocco, there you go. They're ranked 22nd in the world. It's the 6th appearance at the FIFA World Cup. Of course, the head coach is Walid Regragui, as well as captain Roman Saiz. Of course, they also have so many other great players that we're going to be talking about later on the show. The best performance is a round of 16 at the 1986 World Cup. Next thing we're going to be taking a look at is Croatia. Of course, you can't forget what Croatia did at the Russia 2018 World Cup. It's just 4 years ago. The Blazers, that's their nickname. Let's see whether they're going to be blazing their way all the way to the final again. The 12th in the world is the 6th appearance at the World Cup as well. So, of course, the head coach is still there. Zlatko Dalic was a Croatian. So, Captain Luka Modric, we know Luka is their talisman. He'll be hoping to lead Croatia all the way to the final, perhaps win the competition again. Best result 4 years ago in Russia, they came second. Let's move on to the next team. Favorite for me and for a lot of pundits and fans out there, the Samba Boys of Brazil. Seleção, #1 in the world, 22nd appearance at the tournament. Only team to have made an appearance at the World Cup since inception in 1930. Head coach is Tite. Ever since Tite took charge of that team, Brazil have been on a great run. The captain is the evergreen Thiago Silva, of course. What a player. Best result, champions, 1958, 62, 17, 94, 2002, led by the phenomenon Ronaldo de Lima. of course, let's move on to Serbia, the last team we're going to be profiling before I get the thoughts of my guest. The Eagles, not the Super Eagles, but the Eagles are going to the World Cup, the 21st in the world, 12th appearance at the tournament. Of course, the coach is Dragan Stojkovic, and the captain is Dusan Tadic. Very, very decent side as well. So I'm going to go back to my seat now so we can take a proper look at all of these teams, starting with Brazil. For me, we're going to talk about Brazil, Kendi. Brazil, you look at the team from back to front. They're loaded. They're loaded with talents. Talking about Alisson and Edison in goal, then go all the way to the attack where you have Neymar, Anthony, Jesus, Richarlison. I mean, they're just a very loaded side, and they're being led by this very, very wily old coach, very good coach, experienced Tite, who's pretty much turned around the fortunes of Brazilian football in the last 3 to 4 years now. We just saw in the picture there, Casemiro is going to be in that midfield for Brazil. There's Fred, there's so many Paqueta. I mean, you can go on and on and on. You can understand why pundits and and fans are tipping Brazil to perhaps go all the way and win a 6th title.
Maybe some teams are widely talked about, after the list for the team came out, but when the list for the team came out for Brazil, the video went more than viral. Everybody followed the reaction of every player that was named, because the entire world waited. And it's the same every time there is a World Cup. If there is other competition, you might not have your look at Brazil. But when there is a World Cup, everybody waits, to listen, to see what Brazil will produce. And you can see the competition is so massive. If Firmino couldn't make it, Gabriel Magalhaes having a nice time at Arsenal couldn't make it because of the competition. The goalkeepers you just mentioned, Alisson, Alisson, Ederson, who is going to be number one? Also, Waverton. Another very fantastic goalkeeper. So who is going to be number one? Anybody who gets in the middle of the goal stick is as perfect. Then you look at the defense. You're talking of Thiago Silva, and a lot of persons had their heads turning when they heard of Dani Alves, being in that team. That is how much this team wants to be well balanced with experience, youthfulness, and also, a team.
I like what you just said there, experience and youth as well. Because
the Vini Juniors, the Rodrigo, everybody is here, and the entire world cannot wait to see. For every time they get into a competition, whether they are in their worst state, Brazil is always one of the favorites to win the World Cup. It seems this is a competition they know how to play so well. So, and you're having an almost near perfect team in Brazil. I share your thoughts in having your eyes, well fixed on Brazil. So, a good team. I want to see Chiche, the coach right there. You mentioned the fortunes. He's done a beautiful job. I think he's made even players and fans alike love Brazil even to another level. And for the captain, Thiago Silva, this man is a story of, a fine wine. A old wine who never goes bad. So I want to see how they set up at the World Cup. I think that would be the headache. Who makes the first 11?
All right, that's a good headache to have as a football manager or head coach. Definitely. Austin, you want to chip in on Brazil before we move on to our next team we're profiling?
I don't want to talk about Brazil. Even my little girl will talk about Brazil. because it's Brazil. Let me talk about our African brothers, Morocco. Morocco is one team that I think they can fancy their chances out of Group F. Because if Croatia should blink, Morocco will definitely want to take something out of that group to the next round. Canada will relish playing at the World Cup, but Morocco can say to themselves that, look, this World Cup shouldn't be one where we just come to add to the numbers. And that's why I want to put a charge to them, particularly African teams at the World Cup. It's just unfortunate that Cameroon will. I think Cameroon is in the same group with Brazil, and when you see that team, you already start shaking. So with Morocco and some of the things that they've been able to do back in the day, you should be able to, particularly how they qualified for the competition, we should be able to see something different from them this time around.
Well, we hope to see the Atlas Lions of Morocco going all the way. Not all the way. I mean, just coming out of the group, first of all, that's the first thing. Then we can start talking about how far they can go in the competition. They've got some decent players.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper, Yasin Bono, very good goalkeeper, decent. Akim Ziyech found a way back into the side. A lot of people feel
after that,
a lot of people feel it's one of the reasons why the former coach had to go. Yeah, we're about to mention Hakimi, good player, Sofiane Buffal as well. So it's a decent side.
It's a good team.
If they can put everything together, they should be able to make it out of the group stage.
And I like the fact that as a Nigerian, we're talking about other African representatives. We don't have a choice at this point.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to represent them. We just have to back our African teams, because when the stories fly around, I can remember in '94 when Nigeria was high flying, the entire Africa was happy for it, and the entire Africa was taking proper look at by other parts of the world, saying, okay, I think these Africans are really good, footballing, continent. And we saw how individuals from Africa also start getting proper recognition from there. And then it went on and on. So Morocco, with the kind of team Morocco have got, I think they can do enough. Then also, so many times, like we always say, talent alone cannot take you crossing the line. Morocco in the last 7-8 years had also consciously start investing properly, and they said to the entire world, it's a 10 years plan, and we're already in the 8th year, and you're having Morocco male and female qualifying for the World Cup. So this is a team that not just backed up by talent, they are also administratively, consciously in the growth, and I'm sure we'll see something better. Yes, it's a tough group, but I'm having a feeling that this is one of Africa's good representatives.
I like the reasons you've given Austin. He's just talked about how Morocco are getting things right on and off the pitch.
You know, I kept saying it, Tayo, that they've been deliberate with their football, and we can see the results, under 3 years. And with the Atlas Lions of Morocco, yes, you can call some of the names that we see in the English Premier League or the people that have made a name, but they are predominantly a team playing team. They're the sort of team that when they come out, you could tell that it is not packed on an individual. And the game after game, they keep getting better. We saw them at the AFCON, they showed some of it also. So I think with the World Cup, where we have in Group F, Belgium, the Atlas Lions of Morocco, Canada, and Croatia. Croatia did all of the magic in Russia. Every World Cup is different, know? So I believe Morocco, if they go out there with that same mentality that I've seen from them, particularly from the qualifier style, they can get us talking. Yeah,
that's not a very good chance. I agree with you guys. Let's talk about Croatia, the finalists from last World Cup in Russia 4 years ago. They're coming back with some of the players that were a part of that incredible run all the way to the final. Luka Modric in your shot right there is still the captain. They also got some very decent players as well. So even Perisic, Mateo Kovacic, Marcelo Brozovic as well. To all the Ziches are coming, Mario Pasalic. Very good team as well. To good individual players, and they want to show that going to the final last time out wasn't a fluke. So they decide to really watch out for.
Except if teams step up against Croatia. I think one thing they did in the last World Cup, which they will be looking to do again, especially still having the same gaffer in that team, is the fact that they were a unit. Croatia all the way, yes, they had some X factor like Luka Modric, like Ivan Perisic, they were, very good. And then you go to the defense, some notable names, but the team played for each other from start to finish. It took France, a spectacular team, to take them out. At a point, yes, 4-2 looked like, okay, they were whitewashed, but at a point in that game, it was looking as close like it could swing either way. So Croatia, I'm sure with Dalic, still there, they are looking to be a unit that is hard to crack down, this time again. So if they do that, and then their X factor pops up at the time you just needed a cushion on the shoulders of your X factor, they will step up and do that. So Croatia is another team you should give respect to and definitely have your eyes on. But like Austin said, no two World Cups is ever the same, and I'm sure they are having that thought at the back of their mind and saying, okay, we had a good run the last time. Teams will be aiming for Croatia this time around, so we need to even step on the gas, more than we did the last time.
So where do you see on how far do you see Croatia going in this competition?
As much as, I have my, reservations on other teams, I think Croatia is good enough to pull through to the next round. At least I know of that. I'm having a sure feeling on that.
All right, we'll see.
We'll talk about, further rounds on this same show when that time comes. But for now, the first round, let's take.
That's a very smart way of handling the situation. Austin, we're going to be going very, very soon. Let's get your last words.
Yeah, should get us talking, but it will be under pressure, and that's why I think Morocco can just fancy their chances to get out of Group F. It's the World Cup. Look. Teams are ready to go out there to give us what to talk about. Let the best team, get us talking. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be in the middle and just watch this World Cup. So we got to go. So let me run. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Indeed, I want to thank you for your time as well. To appreciate your insights and analysis as always.
It's always good to be here, Tayo. It's always good doing this with you.
We'll do this again very soon. Next week. All right, thank you all for watching as well. To enjoy the rest of your night. I am Tayo Salam.